particular cabinet because they appear to be bulletproof. You know, you've got Robert Jenrick and all the stuff that he's been doing about maybe or maybe not circumventing the rules when it comes to planning applications. Did he give favour to a millionaire or not because he donated to the party? You've got Cummings who did what he did. You know, whereas it happens to a Scottish National Party MP, and she is absolutely vilified and told to get out, although she hasn't yet. I mean, there's
Sorry, what you're making me think about there is promoting classism to fuel nihilist sort of argument. So you're fueling nihilism. People that believe there's no point in anything.
Yes.
Okay. So you have these events which basically have them reinforce that mentality, which leads to more arguments.
All right, very complicated theory, but how about this one? A bit simpler. Rose has got in touch and says Dominic Cummings is not a politician, he's an employee, he's a civil servant, so he doesn't matter so much. Should it matter?
Dominic Cummings?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he's not on the cabinet, so unfortunately we can't vote him off, can we?
No, we can't, but I mean, he can still be sacked from his job. No,
he could be sacked.
Chief of staff, or someone said chief of stuff.
Yeah, this is the problem with he's effectively a consultant, isn't he?
Yes.
He's a consultant to the politicians.
Well, I think he's a policy maker.
Exploit. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a bit of a cheating, really. He's given too much.
Oh, I think the conspirators will cut you off. Neil, regular from Swansea, how are you, my friend? Is the lamb in the oven, as it normally is at this time of night on a Sunday? Ian, you've just summed up life and money and power. You follow your own rules, you have none of the rules that are imposed on the rest of us. And stop talking about Cummings. What about the SNP Ferrier? I've mentioned her. Well, you're becoming a Corbyn lefty, almost a Citizen Smith. Showing my age there. I'm not showing your age there, but I remember it. 0345 6060 973. It does appear, and I'm not casting aspersions on any of them, but it does appear that there were many MPs still drinking in the Commons bar after 10 o'clock, and possibly, or possibly not, Matt Hancock was amongst them. Does it matter that there's one rule for them and one rule for us? It's 6:15. This is LBC.
As the clock ticks down to the start of the new year, businesses who trade with countries inside the EU need to be prepared. Daphne Comer from Portico Customs Agency has been talking about what these companies need to do.
Regardless of the trade deal, UK importers and exporters will be required to make UK customs declarations for all goods being imported and exported.
To find out more, go to lbc.co.uk. Thanks to Portico Customs Agency, LBC.
Hear that? It's meant to be sunny today. And because the British weather is so unpredictable, QuickFit are stocking Michelin Cross Climate tyres, giving you excellent grip in any condition. At least that's one thing you can rely on. Find your nearest centre or book online at quickfit.com and drive away happy. Oh, it's sunny now.
Betfair Casino launches brand new slot games every week. They're so new, if they were a car, they'd smell fantastic. So new, if they were a pair of trainers, they'd be brighter than the sun. So new, if they were a dog, they would still be peeing on the carpet. Feel the feeling of brand new newness and get 50 free spins with Betfair Casino now.
Free spins apply to new Betfair Casino customers only. Available on selected games. T's and C's at betfair.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
There's loads to think about right now. Like, what am I going to do for my birthday in case I can't come over? Should I get one of them face masks that makes my heart pump like the tigers? And my mum and dad get to sign up to Britain for the British Heart Foundation. Actually, how are they going to get money if it doesn't happen? I'm just looking for my granddad. He had 2 strokes, and now he's got vascular dementia. So please, give
flouting the 10 p.m. bar curfew that's been imposed on the rest of us. We are told by an eyewitness, we're actually told by another eyewitness who contacted this programme, that one MP ordered a bottle of wine at 9:59. Have MPs flouted the 10 p.m. bar curfew, and was Matt Hancock amongst them? Because his spokesman has refuted. The official word was, I left the estate Parliament of the House of Commons after the 9:40 vote, and he didn't say whether he went back to the bar after before he went. When asked 13 times, his spokesman replied, only 3 times. I refer you to the answer we gave earlier. It's a little bit pommy, isn't it? Don't you think? Paul, does it matter, Paul?
I've got 2 questions for you, if you don't mind, Ian.
Yeah, please go.
So the first one, just my thoughts on the MPs drinking in the bar.
Yeah.
I operate a bar restaurant, well, bar, it's mainly bar, but we do serve food. And we've just gone from tier 2 last week to tier 3 within a space of about 7 days.
Yes, you have.
So we've had to adjust totally. We've got an outside area, a large outside area that worked very well when we were in tier 2, because anybody that was in a household group came inside, anyone in a mixed group went outside. And we thought, well, this is a change and it's working quite well. But anyway, I've just changed the subject. Back to the first question, the first point. Every single person that comes in my bar, we record their details. We make sure, ask them if they're household, or is it a mixed, are you in a single household or in a mixed household? That's a bar we're in tier 2.
Yeah.
And the same would apply to any bar. Any bar in the country has to take that information. So surely the PM's bar also does it. And the Houses of Parliament
Apparently not.
They follow the same rules I follow to record everyone.
I guess they think they're like a private members club, and the rules don't quite apply.
Do they don't apply to them?
It appears so. In the grand scheme of things, it does matter, in your opinion, then.
Of course it does. Every bar has to follow the same rules.
No, I kind of agree with you, to be honest.
Just going on from that.
Yeah.
So we've just gone from tier 2 to tier 3.
Yeah.
Now we've got an option to make. We decided to open on Saturday and see if anybody came in to see what happens.
Yeah.
Single households only.
Yeah.
Our take-ins were down 75%. Bear in mind they're already down. And we're a family business. We sat together as a family, done our costings, and we think that we may just about be able to manage to still keep single households coming in to maintain our staff, keep them all employed for the next 4 weeks.
What?
Now we've got a dilemma, because if we don't close down and then it doesn't work in the next week or 2, do we still qualify for the money the government's given us, or is it in our interest to actually close the bar down?
It's your decision, mate.
We're going to give it a whirl.
I know.
See if we can actually make it work.
Are you near the promenade? Are you near the tower? Where's your pub?
Near the promenade.
Yeah.
We're in Lancashire.
Right.
We're a small market town.
I saw that Nicola Sturgeon was saying the other day she didn't want any people from Glasgow
We're not
particularly.
a tourist area, we're a local area.
Right.
We only have local
Is
people coming.
Blackpool quite badly affected generally though? Because you get a lot of...
Is
it dead?
It's dead.
Is that right?
Nobody going to Blackpool.
Is the Pleasure Beach open? No?
Well, I think places are open, but people aren't coming. People are being scared away.
I know what you mean. Alright, Paul, sorry about what's happening, but you're not the only one, obviously. Let's go to California and speak to Sam. Good afternoon, Sam. Good morning.
Hi, I think it's morning.
Yeah,
Actually,
it is, isn't it? What's your take on this? Should there be one rule for them and one rule for us? Does it matter?
I think it definitely matters, but I think the point of they might catch it and spread it aside, I think it's incredibly disrespectful and so inconsiderate of this industry, and that's the bar, restaurant, hospitality industry, that's been, really affected with jobs and money and the finances and people becoming, losing their jobs and the stress of not knowing how you're going to pay your rent or put food on the table. And I think that's what the point is. That's why it matters on a really social and humane level, that they can do something so disrespectful and hurtful, that people are really struggling and it's hurtful.
What would you say to this? Here's a texter sticking up for Matt Hancock. He said, if I was in Matt Hancock's shoes right now, I would order a case of wine at 9:59. He's a human being. He needs some downtime. I don't see it as a big deal. What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, you know what? I'm sure there's lots of people out there who at 9:50, I would do the same thing. I'd order a case, and But the point, I think the point is that it's not that he was having a drink and whether he's allowed to have a drink. The point is that it's just so rude. It's so inconsiderate to the people who are losing their jobs and are financially struggling because the bars are having, like the caller before, he's probably having sleepless nights on a family business he's put his heart and soul into, and he's now sitting there going, can I keep my staff? And and the distress of having to figure out, will I be able to stay open? And that's one of probably thousands of businesses in this sector, and I think that's the point. Not that he ordered a case or he was having a drink, but the fact that him flouting the rules shows such a blatant disrespect that it's hurtful.
What's the latest in California? Wildfires apart. How's the virus?
To be honest, it's really weird. The difference is we've got a lot of land mass here in California. All our houses are detached. There's a lot of space. So people are wearing their masks, but everyone's just going about life as normal. There's no difference whatsoever about the virus at all.
Really?
Even the numbers are, in California and Southern California, I'm from San Diego, the numbers, San Diego City aside, I'm about 45 minutes up out of San Diego City, and people are just getting on with their lives. Like my family, we've been quarantined since February. We haven't left the house. I go grocery shopping every 2 weeks because we don't have family here, and I don't want my 5-year-old son to be taken by social services if me and my husband both need hospital care.
People wearing face masks, face coverings?
People are, there's a whole kind of, it's my God-given American right not to wear a face mask, there's a whole kind of thing about this, but on the majority, you've got really sensitive people, and, and to be honest, people are not thinking about coronavirus right now, thinking more about politics right now.
Okay, listen. Sorry, I'm just going to fit a couple more calls in before 6:30. Thank you for your keep listening in San Diego. I think this is right, actually. I think since this has all happened a week or so ago, I think, or maybe a bit more, because I think it's fairly certain that the speaker, since all this, has actually closed alcohol, or the bars can't serve alcohol. The Speaker of the House of Commons, where are we? Can we take it that the Commons bar is now closed, given that you can no longer social? I think if somebody knows about this, I'd love to hear from you, but I think that the Speaker has banned the sale of alcohol in Parliament. So this was, when was this story, Lucy? 2 days ago. Okay, so the Palace of Westminster is set to turn off its taps, you see. This is why, I bet it's because of this story. And call time on its bars as the sale of alcohol on the parliamentary estate is prohibited to reflect the state of lockdown across the country. Why do they have to ban alcohol? Can the MPs just not behave? You can sell alcohol until, 9:30 or something. Can they not buy a bottle of wine at 9:59? Whenever they did it, it's just like, you're taking the mickey here. The ban, brought in by the Speaker of the House, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, following limits on hospitality venues brought forward in the latest round of government guidance, with provinces under the effect of a Tier 3 local lockdown forced to close any pub or bar that does not sell food. However, unlike parts of the country, the Speaker said the measure will come into effect on Saturday, i.e. yesterday, whether food is served or not. Really is the headmaster, isn't he? Outside of the parliamentary estate, Tier 2 restrictions are set to be placed on all of the capital's 32 boroughs. So that's essentially what's happened. And I would be amazed if this didn't have something to do with this story that the Mail on Sunday is determined not to let go. Richard, I'm coming to you after the news, I promise. Be patient. Thank you very much for ringing now. Let me read out some text before Tim has the headlines. There should be 650 cameramen to follow the MPs. Every MP gets his or her personal camera person to follow them. Ben says, whilst working at one of the most prestigious opera houses in the world, we had to wear security passes all the time. This was in case of a problem such as a fire or terrorist attack. Security, therefore, knew where we all were. The security at the House of Commons must be better than ours. They'll know where Hancock was. I don't think it's a class thing, says Hannah from Kent. I think it's a 21st century British thing. I'm all right, Jack. A famous film, with Peter Sellers. I'm all right, Jack. It basically just means, look, you can do what you like, but I'm not affected. Always looking for the loophole. People love to get on their high horse when in fact they just wish they'd thought of it first. Good luck to Matt Hancock, my next door neighbour, and everyone else that pushes various boundaries just because they can and they can get away with it. I bear no malice towards them, says Hannah. That's very big of you, Hannah. And Alan, who's in Peterborough, says, of course all this matters because it sets such a bad example. Rather like the Queen being photographed without a mask. What's that all about? Her Majesty, I don't think she's been photographed wearing a mask, has she? I know she resumed her royal duties on, was it Thursday? I think it was Thursday, and she went separately from Prince William because they wanted to make sure that they weren't cross-contaminating and all that. But that was about the only concession I think they made. Lovely lavender, or was it rose, outfit with the Queen, apparently. Time is 6:30. Tim Humphrey has the news.
Greater Manchester's Mayor has welcomed a constructive conversation this afternoon with Boris Johnson's Chief Strategic Advisor over coronavirus restrictions for the region. Andy Burnham has so far refused to enter Tier 3 without more financial support. It's claimed a so-called circuit break lockdown for Wales will be confirmed tomorrow, but the government there insists no final decision has been made. The Met Office is warning autumn will hit with a vengeance over the coming week. Weather warnings have been issued for areas of Scotland and Northern Ireland for the next 2 days, with heavy rain and strong winds expected. And the weather forecast, rain developing tonight over Northern Ireland, Scotland, North Wales and Northern England, and a low of 7 degrees.
This is LBC.
With Vodafone's half price and limited SIM only offers, you can get unlimited mobile data from just £11 a month for the first 6 months.
Wow, that's actually really good. Are we done here? I might just order one for myself.
That's unlimited mobile data from just £11 a month on the UK's best mobile data network. It's a great time to switch to Vodafone. Ready? Vodafone.
2 megabits per second and 10 megabits per second speed can apply to unlimited plans. £22 per month for a month of 7. Available on 24-month unlimited SIM plans. Terms apply. See vodafone.co.uk.
To help clean up London's air, the ultra-low emission zone is expanding from central London up to the North Circular and down to the South Circular roads in October 2021.
Londoners are already doing their bit, with 4 in 5 cars already meeting the standard.